Hello! What is up, everyone? Welcome to Feral Swim Tech. This is the live stream on Team Zoot's Facebook page where I take my 15 plus years of competition experience and about 13 years now of private coaching experience to help you get faster in the water. So this is a live show broadcast on Team Zoot's Facebook page. However, I do record these episodes and I upload them to my own places. FeralSwimTech.com on YouTube and FeralSwimTech on Rumble. If you're watching on either of those platforms and you like what you see here, please hit the like button. It would be greatly appreciated. Consider subscribing because I post stuff I post my weekly live stream infrequently. I do not have a dedicated social media guy. It's a one-man show here, so sometimes it takes me a little while to actually upload the content. I do apologize for that. But everything that I have done is on either YouTube and Rumble will be I'm working on it. So Instagram, Feral Swim Tech on Instagram, and email, feralswimtech@gmail.com. Any questions about any of these episodes that I do you have a specific swim topic that I don't cover that you want me to cover? feralswimtech@gmail.com. Or if you're on Facebook, just direct message me. I have no issues with that. Just make sure you kind of write Feral Swim Tech or FST and the first line. So when I look at the preview, I'm like, okay, this person's legit. They know the FST. Yeah, so let's get started with today's topic, which is going to be pulling. You know, we talked about pulling last week. Mostly we talked about kind of the overall idea, which is, you know, we want to take water in front of us and we want to push it backwards. We want to push it in a straight line because if we push it in any other direction, we're pushing water in the wrong direction, okay? So what we want to do is we want to be able to understand how to grab that water and push it backwards. So today's topic, we're going to continue on from where we finished off last week, which is the catch, where we started talking about the catch, where we put our arm out, grab that brick, and get it to about here. So we discussed last week kind of the idea of grabbing a brick and pushing it down in front of us. So when we push the arm underneath the body, what we want to really be focusing on is getting stiffness in our arm. And that's where we're going to start talking first. A lot of times I see people kind of flap their hand, you know, they think, oh, I'm going to really get that extra oomph from doing this. Okay, they go here. Here, let me put that down just a little bit. They start here, they go here, and then they go whoop like this underneath the body somewhere. That's not a good idea. Why is that? Because when we want to pull, we want to keep the stiffness throughout the entirety of our arm. We don't want to allow that hand to slip, okay? So what we need to understand, one second. What we need to understand is that we need to keep the hold of the water with the entirety of our arm, okay? So let's say my little cream bottle here is a ledge, and you're trying to grab on this ledge. If I allow my wrist to loosen up, you're going to slip off that edge. So your edge is now here. We're going to grab this ledge and we're going to use it to push ourselves forward. If you allow your hand to slip upwards as you're pulling, when that hand comes up, you've lost your grip. You're slipping. You slip through the water this way. So I've seen varying degrees of, cringe. When I watch people swim, I go, ew. You know, it's just like, just keep those fingers down, okay? So how do we do that? So when we start the catch, we're going to bring our hand down here. what we're going to do is we're going to keep a little bit of tension in our fingertips. So what we want to do is we want to have our fingers just a little bit towards us when we start. And then we're going to start engaging the entirety of the arm. Now, a common misconception in pulling is people think I'm pulling and I'm pushing with my hand. That's not the right position. That it's not the right area that you want to focus your pressure, okay? Because we are used to grabbing things with our hands, okay? We are used to grabbing pull-up bars with our hands and grabbing. We're grabbing weights from the ground and lifting them up, and we're doing whatever we're doing with them. We are so used to and accustomed to having our hands be the main point of pressure and contact, doing push-ups, things of that nature. Swimming is a little bit different. If you focus on your hands, there's going to be one of two things that happens. Number one, you're going to do this, okay? You're going to wind up curling those fingers underneath, and you're going to start pointing in the direction you want to be pushing. Does that make sense? Where you go here. All right, see how my fingers are now pointed behind me? I've seen this a lot, actually. Because you're thinking, I'm putting so much pressure on my hand and curling those fingers underneath that the fingers curl and they wind up just pushing. You push on your fingertips at that point. The water is being pushed on the entire length of your hand. You are not pushing bricks with your hand, okay? I know last time I talked about this concept of grabbing a brick, grab the brick, and then push the brick. So that's not essentially the correct way. That's the correct idea of placing the hand initially. Your brick is right about here, right about in the forearm, and you're going to push with the forearm. Now, what does this do in terms of a mentality of pulling and or pushing? I like to say push because it's actually you're pushing stuff down with the entirety of your arm. So when you start to push and you put that focus here, what this does is this creates a more central point on your arm that allows you to push with the entirety of the arm. That's the goal. We want to use the whole arm to push, not just the hand. So your arm starts effectively pulling somewhere around the middle of the bicep, okay? So if you focus on the forearm, that actually is about the center point between your bicep and your hand. So about here, okay? That's your length. Okay? There's my hand. That's about my midpoint. Right there. Center of the arm. All right? So, when you're pulling, focus on putting the pressure on the center of the arm. Okay, that sounds easy enough. How the heck do we do it? Snorkels! Snorkels is how you're going to want to work on this. What you want to do is you want to throw a pull buoy on, maybe two. There's no problem with throwing two pull buoys on, okay? Unless you got like really short legs. If you got really short legs, okay, that might be an issue. But if you got really short legs, you're probably really short too, so one pull buoy should be fine for you. If you got long legs like I do, I'm 6'2". My father-in-law is 6'7", my brother-in-law is 6'7", so yeah, if any of them were going to, they would probably need two pull buoys. So you put the pull buoy on, you put the snorkel on, you just put your face in the water, and all you're doing is pulling and focusing on putting your pressure here. Now, a couple other tips to help you out. Number one, finger stiffness, okay? Now, I've seen people talk about fingers, and I'm going to cut through all the garbage. Don't worry about it, okay? Sincerely, anything about, optimal finger position. No. Your mom's giving you a bunch of M&Ms as a kid. No Spider-Man hands, all the M&Ms fall through, okay? The putting your fingers slightly apart is an absolute pain in the butt. It requires a whole heck of a lot of training. And according to all my research, it's about 1% better than doing this. Absolutely marginal gains for the amount of annoyance, the amount of training, the amount of finger strength and discipline. It's just not worth it. 1 second. It is absolutely not worth it. Put your fingers together, slight squeeze. This is all you need right here. Little cup, little cupping shape, little bit of a squeeze. What's kind of nice is the Zoot paddles really fit this contour very, very well. So if you're working on some pulling sets and you want to work on your grip strength or on your finger strength, put the paddle on. That's going to distribute. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Oh, all right, that's going to distribute the pressure on the entirety of your hand without having to worry about your fingers. And then what you do is you just kind of squeeze them together just a little bit while you're pulling. So then you can work on the arm strength, you can work on the shoulder strength, you can also work on a little bit of your grip strength as well. So with the finger tension, what you want is you want to have just like you have a little string on your fingers and you're pulling them towards you, just like that, okay? So you want to keep your fingers about here. And here's the other tip. Keep the fingers pointing down, okay? Keep the fingers pointing down. Okay, you see my fingers? They're always pointing down. Don't follow through with the fingers. You're going to be bending the wrist, okay? This is accomplished by bending the wrist, okay? Down. So I'm pointing the fingers at the camera. So now they're up. Now they're down. You see how my wrist bends? Up. Down. Wax on. Wax off. By the way, I am pretty stoked for the new Karate Kid movie. That looks dang good. It's like it's about freaking time we get Jackie Chan on this action. I'm sorry, I'm a huge Jackie Chan fan. He doesn't do all of his own stunts anymore, but the man is awesome. We watched, what was that? It was like I can't remember. It was on Netflix. And then I'm like, oh, Jackie Chan actually used wires? I'm like, well, the dude's like 60, so okay. I'll give the 60-year-old man a break, okay? We're good. I love you, Jackie. You're fantastic. Anyway, I digress. So you want to keep those fingers pointing down to the ground. So legitimately, a way to practice this is keep your fingers pointing in a direction about this high, and then move the hand down and keep the fingers pointed in the same way. Okay, up, down, up, down. Wrist bends so the fingers stay pointed in the same direction. Okay, down, up, down, up, down. All right, that's gonna make a lot of sense because we're gonna grab here. Here, let me shimmy myself here. So we're here. And then we're going to push. You see how my fingers are still pointed down when they're all the way back there? Right about here is when you finish the pull and you're going to extend the fingers backwards, okay? So for the entirety of the pull, when we start here and pull, fingers still pointing down all the way to the back, okay? So you want to get used to this idea of moving the hand up and down and bending the wrist so the fingers and the hand stays level. You just got to do that in the vertical, well, with your hand in a vertical position. So, okay, so that covers fingers, that covers wrist. We covered pressure. So pressure is always here. So after you get in this set, so you're going to do the catch to get your hand set here. Then you're going to engage right here. Now, one question is, how deep does our hand go? I've seen plenty of people go, their hand shoots all the way to the bottom of the pool. Now, we want to be able to do this. Yeah, we'll go back to the bench in a little bit, and I'll kind of show this. So like I said last time, we want to avoid doing the half moon, the half circle sweep with the arm. By the way, if this isn't making sense, please let me know in the comments. But we don't want to push with a straight arm. We don't want to bring the hand all the way up to our body. So if I'm swimming, water level's right here, you're basically looking at me from the side. When I push down, how far away is the hand going to be underneath my body when I get to here? Okay? Where does my hand need to be? Now, optimally, our arm bend from the forearm down to the up. Okay, directions are hard. From the upper arm to the forearm, okay? This bend at our elbow wants to be at 110 degrees. 90 degrees is fine. you don't have to freak out about being 110 degrees exactly, okay? So like this is fully extended. This is 180 degrees, okay? Unless you're like crazy weird jointed. This is like 0. Okay, we'll just say this is 0. Okay. Right about there is about 110. This is about 90. Okay. Now, how do we know that we're at 90 degrees? The tension in your bicep and your tricep. Okay. This is one of the best ways I have figured out how to be able to get that arm in the right direction. Okay. So, bicep, you engage your bicep, you show off the bicep. You engage the bicep, the hand comes towards you, okay? Extend the tricep, you flex the tricep, the hand goes away from you, okay? So, if you engage both the bicep and the tricep, so basically what you're doing is you're focusing on engaging the muscles in your upper arm. Right here, that'll get you in the ballpark. That'll get you right about where you need to go. You're gonna probably, if you're really good, if you take some time and just kind of focus it here. So what you're gonna do is just you let your arm loosen up, wiggle your arm just a little bit, and then engage both the arms, and then give a little bit of tension right here to lock it in. Okay. So you see kind of that part is flexing. Now remember, I'm a civil engineer. I'm not an exercise science major, okay? I don't know all the fancy names of all these things. I know the bicep, I know the tricep. That's it. That's about it for the arm muscles that I know. I know that there's like a wrist muscle and there's like a bunch of crap in the hand. I don't know what any of those things are. I don't know. But bicep, tricep. Your life is simple, okay? If I can remember the names of these things, I'm pretty positive you can. So get that bicep and tricep and engage whatever the heck this thing is, okay? This will lock your arm in the right position, and then you're just going to push towards yourself, and then keep the hand engaged as well. Keep this wrist engaged. Don't let the hand flip out. Okay, keep it engaged here. Grab it and push it underneath the body. So if you do this, what you're going to do is you're going to find that after the catch, you're going to set your arm, and then you're going to engage those muscles, get your hand underneath your body, get your elbow outside of your body. Why do I say that? Because you're going to wind up being somewhere around here, plus minus, okay? And if I dip the shoulder, it's going to be even deeper. So you're going to be right about here. Now, what happens is if you focus on your elbow, you're going to be here, okay? My hand's all the way over here. Elbow is underneath the body, okay? So what we're doing is we're kind of doing this weird balance. And some of you, now that I'm going through this, some of you might say, wow, this is complicated. How am I going to remember all these things? This is why I'm trying to give you the cues, okay? Arm stiffness, little tension in the fingers, bicep, tricep, and whatever the heck this little thing is. Okay, that's it for arm tension. That's all you need to do. And then over time, you'll learn how to engage those muscles to where you can do it efficiently. At the beginning, you're going to over-engage the muscles. Very common. Your arms are going to be stupid tired when you start doing this because number one, you're probably not used to engaging your muscles like this, and it is a sustained engage. It's not a impulse. Okay. Now there's two types of lifts. Okay, impulse lifts and sustained lifts. Okay, when you're doing stuff in the weight room, impulse is clean and jerk, bench press, just like standard bench press. And then, upright rows, those are, most of those are impulse lifts. Now, and that's just you give a tug on the weight and you get it up as fast as you can. That's sometimes known as an impulse. Now, I'm used to impulses, just kind of like an impulse of acceleration. My nerd just came out. I'm sorry. And then there's a sustained lift where you lift it really slowly up and down. There's different ways to lift. Sustained lifts are kind of what we're doing here in swimming. We're grabbing that arm and we're going to push and keep that intensity, keep that stiffness the entirety of the time. Most of you, if you're swimming, probably, I would say 145 or slower, which is going to be a lot of you. A fair amount of you more than likely pull with impulses where you go, instead of a slow and continue, and not a slow per se, but just a continuous pedal. So it's like just going pedal, 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 as opposed to pedal, 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 keeping the pressure on both feet at the same time while you're cycling. Okay, running's impulses. That's all it is. It's just an impulse because honestly, you're turning over too fast, and there's no resistance bringing your hand forward. Well, I guess it is kind of like, okay. Hold on. I'm sorry. No, the whole comparison completely broke down there. Just disregard that. Okay. For those of you that don't watch my gaming live streams at night, I typically have what I like to call Frito, and I know I'm pointing at my garage door. He's my taco chef. My night live stream is themed like a taqueria. So I always yell at the garage door and tell Frito, edit all of that out. He's going to make sure none of that gets into the live stream. So Frito, edit all that stuff about running out. Okay. We're going to reset. 3, 2. All right. So, we want to have a nice, long, sustained pull, for our pulling. So like I said before, snorkel. You want to work on your pulling, throw the snorkel on your face. It is going to be your best friend. Which, if you want to get your own snorkel, you can check out the Amazon store. Yay, shameless plug time. Woo! So if you like what you see here and you want more, there you go. I should have had these ready like I always do. If you want to know more about what I do, check out my Linktree. So that has information on everything. So let me just pull this up super quick, just so I can kind of show you, because I haven't shown it yet in 2025. So I gotta show off. I worked on this, so I gotta show it off every once in a while. Hey, that's a spoiler for a minute here. So I do live stream gaming most nights, and most mornings I'm on the bike. So if you want to tune in and hang out for those, you can check my stream on any of those locations. So when you click on Amazon, here is my recommendation store. So yes, ew, yuck. I need to update some of these things. Whoops. But yeah, so here's the bench that I use behind me. TRX straps are really, really great for adding upper body strength. These are the goggles that I live and die by. Tier Socket Rocket 2.0s. Don't use this. Don't use the rubber strap. Just use the yo-yo string. It's way better. But here is a snorkel. It's a Finnis snorkel. It's fantastic. It works great. Who was it? I think Magic 7 now has a snorkel, but it's basically the same thing as this. Surfer Sav, this is legitimately... Here, I have my own right here. Here's my Surfer Sav. This stuff is golden. This is the only thing that I have found where if you have like chlorine itchies, if you get itchy from chlorine, Surfer Sav is the best stuff to use. I haven't found anything that's better. It's all natural, blah, blah, blah. It's just really, really good stuff. Yeah, so nose plugs, if you're a backstroker, nose plugs are fantastic. I love them. Yeah. Oh, and stretch cords for building arm strength for dryland. So, yep. So there's the Amazon store. Yeah. So dynamic triathlete. We'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah. So if you like what you see here, check out the link tree. We greatly appreciate it. And we're going back to full camera. All right. So. Okay. So we talked about tension. We talked about pull path. Pull path is basically straight, just like I said before. Bend the wrist in order to modify. Keep your fingers basically pointing down at the bottom of the pool at all times. Okay, we're gonna go back to the bench here for a little bit here. So, and we're gonna keep this camera angle. So I'm just gonna swap. Shoot, where did my Oh, there we go. Yeah, we'll keep it that way. All right. So we'll shift the bench out. I actually had my chain fall off yesterday while I was on stream. That's embarrassing. So, okay. So like I said before, one of the biggest things that I see is people pull like this, where they use straight arms. So what we're doing is we talked about the catch last week. So we're going to catch that water, and then we're going to push here. We're going to push with our forearm, and we're going to engage the bicep and the tricep. So then when your arm is right underneath you, so right here, it's just about under where my chest is. You see that my arm bend here is about like this, like that's about 90. We're going to be a little bit deeper than that. But obviously my hand is a little messed up here. So, so we're going to keep here. And we're going to be pushing with the forearm. So the mantra that I use, hand in, elbow out. We want our hand somewhere underneath here, keeping the elbow here. Now, I mentioned before regarding when the elbow comes underneath the body. So this is what is known as cross-body pulling, where what you're doing is you're bringing the hand over this way. So now this is caused by two issues. Number one, you're not paying attention to where the hand is actually going, and you start here and you pull this way. So you're not dragging the elbow out in order to keep that hand underneath your body. Typically, if you just if you bring that elbow out, the hand will sort itself out. But the reason why this is not good is because when your hand comes out here, you're trying to do pull-ups with crossed arms. Okay? This is where pull-up theory comes in. When we do pull-ups, we want to be about here. We want to keep our hands in front of our body. We want to keep our elbows out. Okay? So when we pull, we're going to keep our hand in and the elbow out. And we're going to engage all those muscles that I talked about before when you get to here. Now, when you're about halfway under the body, what you're going to do is you're going to release the muscles as you continue to push backwards. And then you're going to bring it up, back over, grab, engage the muscles until about here. Okay, so this is about where my hips are. Where my hips are is when you push backwards and push that hand to where the thumb is in line with your hip. And you're going to bring it back over, engage the muscles, continue, push, and then recover. Okay? So that basically covers, where am I at? Okay, I'm good on time. So that mostly covers what the pull is. So we're going to reach, catch to here. We're going to keep that arm out during the catch. Okay? What we don't want to do is we don't want to engage. We want to engage the arm to here and then start the pull. What we don't want to do is here, here, here. We want to go pop, go, pop, go, pop, go. All right? Go. You know, when you finish the stroke, don't let your hand stay here. A lot of problems I see with people is they have what's called a dead spot, where they pull here and then they leave the hand here, they start the pull, and then they bring it back over. We want the arms to be continuously going at all times. Okay? Yeah, that's about it for that. So yeah, just keep the hand and keep the sustained push until here, and then bring the elbow up and over. We'll talk about recovery next week, because with recovery there's a bunch of different items that need to be discussed with recovery. So that legitimately gets its own episode. I'm actually gonna. I need to do some filming for that one too. Yeah. So okay. So that's about it for the mechanics. So let's talk about turnover rates. We're gonna finish the episode talking about turnover rate. In other words, strokes per minute. Now, before I start diving into some numbers from my last swim, let's kind of talk about this stroke rate for a second. Classic swimmers don't typically use stroke rate. It's just not a metric that we really use. I mean, legitimately, until the real advent of wearable smartwatches, we've had no real way to determine a stroke rate. We know how to swim faster and we know how to swim slower. We don't really know stroke rate. I mean, we know tempo. You know, and I actually had a tempo trainer when I swam, and that is one of the most annoying things I have ever done. Essentially, it's on the Amazon store. It's a little disc. It's a little, you know, kind of looks like a very, very cheap LCD doohickey. You wear a swim cap, which, number one, I hate wearing swim caps. I never wear a swim cap when I train. I only wear caps when I competed. I think I only wore a swim cap maybe twice. 2 or 3 workouts my entire collegiate career, but that's because I had like a gnarly case of dermatitis. It was the most insane thing that I've ever seen. And the funny thing was I went because like it felt like acid was being poured on my face. It was painful. Like I was crying. It was so painful. And it like went all the way down to my eyebrow. I don't even know how the heck I got it. So I went to the athletics doctor. You know, we had a doctor that like in a pinch, you know, we could go and just be like, hey, look, I got something wrong with me. What the heck is wrong with me? So he just looks me over. He had two pre-med students with him, and he goes, "Oh, you just have dermatitis. Okay, what do I do? Oh, just buy T-gel, Neutrogena T-gel, and that'll get rid of it." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? The stupid shampoo my dad uses that smells like tar?" He goes, "Yeah, that stuff works great." Okay, I guess my dad was right about something. that's that's just one of those things. You're just like, are you kidding me? That stupid shampoo my dad used my entire freaking life that I mocked him for? That's gonna solve my problems. That's like one of those, I kept telling that kid he's gonna need the Neutrogena T-gel one of these days, and retro. I'm sorry. I got it once again. Random story. Okay, so anyway, stroke tempo. It would beep, and he'd set it to a certain tempo, and he wanted me to keep the strokes with that tempo. So outside of using one of those, I mean, we never really used that metric. We typically used strokes per 25. So you're gonna look at my pace, and you're going to see stroke counts. And you're going to see a big variance of stroke counts here. There's like one or two of these that like absolutely gets thrown out the window. I'm just going to delete this row. I'm going to delete that row right now. All right, time to dive into Excel land, kids. This is everyone's favorite place. Let's talk about Excel. Yeah! Nerds like me love Excel because we get to do all sorts of fun things with it. All right. So, let's see here. Yeah, that's about right. So we did a bunch of, so this 11 and 12, and even this 13, those are, off the blocks. So you can see, wow, I only took 9 strokes for a 25. So, yeah, that's what happens when you dive in and you can do underwater dolphin kick over halfway across the pool. You only need 9 strokes to get to the wall, kids. So what you're going to see here is move time. So that's basically every single thing here is a 25, okay? Now you're going to see here in the interval, by the way, this is from my Form goggles. So this is what it looks like on my actual phone screen. So for those of you that don't have Form goggles yet, this is 100% the best I do not have a coach option that you can get. These goggles are really, really good. I don't normally hype expensive tech here on Feral Swim Tech just because, I know a lot of us, don't have a crap ton of budget, especially when we're not professionals. We don't have a huge budget to spend on these things. Realistically, the Form goggles, if you do not have a coach, this is going to be the next best thing. And realistically, if you're sincere about making your swim faster, if you are sincere about working on your technique, if you're sincere on really pushing your times, these guided workouts will get you there. I've done a number of these workouts. I am not sponsored by Form Goggles. Call me. But 100%, I can't say enough good things about them. They are a partner with Team Zoot. You should have a coupon code in order to get a decent amount off. The goggles come with a 1-year free subscription. I mean, that's basically what I did. I am not currently a premium member, and that is because I legitimately do not swim that much. If I swam all the time, I would get it for the head coach aspect of it, to where it's going to help keep track of my head. It's going to allow me to keep better discipline on my head positioning and my breath timing. But this is with the free version. this is the free version. You get all these metrics. You get a lot of good stuff to dive into. And I get to gloat about my average pace per 100. Yay! Okay. So anyway, so when you check the swim details, this is what you see. You can basically customize which ones that you can do here. So yeah, this is what you get. So the two 100s drill, those are kick. Those are two 100s of kicking. That's a 200 pull with paddles, with big honking paddles. So yeah, that's why I went 112 per 100. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna dive into these metrics first. So you're gonna see stroke counts. So if we sort this largest to smallest, 24. I don't know where that is. That's kind of an outlier, but more on average. So out of about 70-ish. Oh, that can go. We can delete that row. So roughly 70 plus minus. I would say kind of the average equals average. If we take the average of this whole column, it's going to be... So we're at about 14 strokes on average for an entire workout. So people like me, my average stroke per 25 is somewhere between 14 to 16, and that's with a standard wall push-off, going about a quarter of the way underwater. So using a stroke count is a little hard sometimes, just because what winds up happening is, it depends on how far you push off the pool. So when you're talking about stroke count per 25, typically you're going to want to factor in how far you push off the wall. For me, I get probably about a quarter of the way across the pool on average. When I'm starting something, I usually get about halfway. Like when I'm starting a set, it's roughly about halfway across the pool. Off of each turn, I get about a quarter of the way in my underwater streamline. I know a lot of you do not use an underwater streamline. I actually recommend you do. Helps with your overall discipline in the water, knowing exactly how your body is, what your inclination is, so you're able to push off and then gradually get up to the surface. So for me, it's more of I dolphin kick about 3 to 4 times, and then I pop up and start swimming. But as you can see here, on average, so if we sort largest to smallest, so you see I can get into the 90s with my stroke rate. How accurate that is, I'm not 100% positive, but I'm more or less somewhere around the 60s. If you go into the 40s, so these 200s, this is pulling. So a lot of this is the pulls. Yeah. So the majority of this, these are all the pulling set. So that was using paddles. So my stroke rate is going to go down if I am using paddles, and that is mostly because I don't use paddles that frequently. So when I do, I lessen the pressure on my pull, so my pull will slow down. However, it's kind of like low cadence work. Your pull slows down, but you're actually pushing. I'm pushing with more force. So that way I help alleviate the stress on my shoulders, helps keep me from getting injured when I don't use my paddles very often. So you're going to see up here in the faster ones, you're going to see more of 25s and 50s. So you're going to see higher stroke rates in those areas, and you're correlating this with average pace per 100. So if we go, so you can see here, my average, my stroke rate was 90. But I'm also going a sub 50 per 100. That's an 11-second 25. Some of you may be saying, holy crap, how did you do that? Because it was from a dive, okay? So in this particular workout, we had a set where we did a 200 pull, 2 100s kick, and then 4 50s, 25 sprint, 25 easy, and then we did 4 25s, sprint from the block, and then easy 25 after that. So the 200 pull was more of an active recovery. The kicking was more to kind of bring the heart rate up. And then, the 50s sprint easy was to just kind of keep that VO2 max going. And then the dives was to be able to hop out, dive in, sprint the 25, and then a little bit of active recovery coming back. So these 11s and 12s, we did 3 rounds of them. So probably these 11, 12, and 13, these 4 are all going to be from a dive. So realistically, you can kind of plus minus say, okay, you know what? Yeah, that's from a dive. But you notice how even from a dive, my average stroke rate, you know, I'm showing a 49. Okay? The goggles are not 100% accurate with showing stroke rate, but it gives you a decent idea of what's going on. But you can see down here, you know, even when I'm at 13 to 14 seconds per 25. So that's anywhere between a minute to 52 seconds per 100. I'm anywhere between 48, 43 up to 92. So there's a whole lot of variability here. So this is kind of why average stroke rate, it's not that good. Because, you know, the 92 is associated with 15 strokes per 25, and then there's 43 strokes per minute with 9. So it's 10, 12, 15. Yeah. So it's there's so much variability here. And yes, it is correlated where, you know, I went 9 strokes, went down to a 43, but 15 goes up to a 92. So I don't know. It's hard for me to be able to say, oh, well, you know, average stroke rate needs to be X. Because I don't even have a good handle on what stroke rate is. I don't. I have a good handle on strokes per 25. So for me, average cruising, like if I'm swimming a mile, I'm aiming between 14 to 16 strokes per 25. That's kind of what you want to be looking at too. So how do you start working with this? Now, you can use form goggles, you know. I think Garmin also, I didn't record a Garmin workout. I probably should. I need to do an episode where I record a workout on the Garmin and the form goggles. And then I'll do an episode. When I get that done, I'll do an episode on that, and we'll compare and contrast the data between the two wearables. Because I know a lot of you live and die by your metrics, and I want to help you out by comparing and contrasting and kind of seeing what I see from my own perspective. Just because, you know what, swimming, like I continue to say, it's weird. There's weird stuff that goes on with swimming, and honestly, the other thing too is the wearables market. We're still in the infancy, like, to be brutally honest. There's so much more that can be done, and we're still really limited to just whatever tech we have and whatever geniuses are able to throw tech into something that we can actually use. One of my goals this year is to actually buy a power meter for swimming. I would really like to get a power meter for swimming, so then I can do some testing and be able to advertise that as one of my services for Feral Swim Tech. So yeah, if you'd like to donate, check the Feral Swim Tech link, and then there's a link for Venmo. So would greatly appreciate donations via Venmo. There used to be a tip specifically on the link tree, but they did away with it, so I don't really know what to do. And I feel very weird just posting a QR code here because that's always a little weird. But if you would like to donate to make that happen, feralswimtech@gmail.com. It's about $600 in order to purchase the power meter. So yeah, if you would like to if you would like to help donate to that effort, just send me an email. I'll send you a link for donations. But like I said here, the nice thing about this is you get pretty good. It's really accurate in terms of time per 25. That's the one thing that I've noticed with Form over Garmin is that their splits way better. Form splits are way better than Garmin's. The Garmin, I don't, because there's a lot that goes into being able to, auto lap count and stuff like that. And for me, I'm not hitting my watch every single time I hit the wall. That just annoys me to no end. And I know, like, when I did TriDot's pool school last year in February, and they were like, do not touch your gosh darn watch. They actually made everyone take their watch off when we got in the water. They're just like, it is so distracting. You're going to be so worried about clicking on and clicking off your watch. I'm like, people click on and off their watch? I'm just like, that's weird. I never do that. So, I mean, I do it on my runs and stuff, but like I never do it on my swims. So, I don't know. Is there an advantage to that? If there's an advantage to that, leave a note in the comments. I don't know what the advantage would be of doing that. But the nice thing is it gives you your pace per 100, pace per 50. So, I mean, I did a bunch of deleting of stuff. So this is actually what the whole thing looks like. There's a lot of so you can see here it's way too much data to fit on the screen. Do I have a let's see here. No. There you go. Okay. I didn't know if I had. Okay, so here's what the whole thing looks like. See all the lovely games I'm playing over here. But there's even more. So these goggles, they give you a junk load of data. So the big things that I like are pace per 100, pace per 50, move time. So this is in chronological order of what we did. So we did a 200 pull, and then so every once in a while you'll get kind of a piece of garbage data. Like this 25 breaststroke, I did not do a 25 breaststroke there. So that's just a line of garbage data, and then you get a bunch of rest stuff. So if I like shake my head a little bit, it'll kind of do some weird little bit of a counter, but then it'll go back to rest. So then we did 450s. Yeah, so we did 450s of free. Yeah, so it does a pretty good job. So we did 200. So we did a 200, and then 2 100s. So then, actually, no, these are the kick. The 2 100s, that's the kick. So, it shows rest. That's because there's no stroke. I'm holding a kickboard. So it still gives me pace because I actually swam. Yeah, and it shows rest time, cumulative time. So it's kind of all wonky. So then we have, yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's my 425s, or 2 100s a kick, and then we did 25 free, 25 fast, or 25 sprint, 25 slow. So you can see the difference here is, so my sprint, so that was, hold up, I'm going to drag down, I'm going to drag all the way. There you go. So, so my stroke count was 8 for the sprint, and then 16 for the recovery. But you look at the time, my time was, so 53 pace per 100, and then 112 for the recovery. So there is a stark difference between my sprint and my recovery. So these are things that you can tell that you can do right here. So then we did 450s. So then that's 2 50s, 3 50s, 4 50s. And then we did 4 25s of diving off the blocks, and then 25 easy. So you see that I did 19-9, 12, and then 22, and then a 12, and then a 16. Yeah. So 19 and 12. So I don't know where that 19 came from. The 19, that's a little bit of an aberration. That 12 is more accurate. So then if you go down here a little bit further, so that should be 1, 2, yeah, so that gets a little wonky down there. So anyway, so when you dive into the weeds and you want to really understand what you're doing with your pulling, this is how you're going to do it. You're going to check your form, check your Garmin, and then, like I say, the major ones you're going to want to look at are your stroke count, and then your average stroke rate. So those are the two that are going to give you the most information, and then compare that to your pace per 100. So this is how, you can use data in order to be able to understand exactly, how fast are your arms moving, what's your arm speed versus your actual time. Like I say, it's not exactly, there's ways that you can tell what your stroke rate is. Basically, all you need to do is learn how to move your arms faster. What I always do with the high school sprinters that I work with is just tell them, move your arms faster than what you think is necessary. And the other big thing is kicking faster than what you think is necessary. If you want to go a faster 25, faster 50, faster 100, just start moving everything faster. Do that first. And then learn how to harness that power and actually get the stiffness in your arms to actually push the water with power. You got to get the speed up first, and then you can start adding, power and stiffness in, and then you add the stiffness into the equation, and then that increases your power over the long term. But yeah, so that's basically going to end the discussion on pulling, on the pull part of the pulling. So we're going to wrap things up. So this is kind of your last chance. Those of you that are watching live, last chance for questions. Shoot them in the comments. So any last minute questions, shoot them there. If not, if you're watching this as a VOD, thank you very much for getting through this whole discussion with me. And especially when I dug into the data, there's a lot of number stuff, and I can go over people's heads. I understand that. But thank you for sticking around this part of the video. So just remember, if you want to have me review your stroke, feralswimtech@gmail.com. Get some video of yourself, send it over to me. If you have any questions on how to send it to me, let me know. I can provide you with a Dropbox link. You can just drop it right in the Dropbox. I can grab it, review it, get this setup going here in the garage, and then I can review your stroke and give you 3 major points to start working on. Free of charge, although I do ask for donations. Donations go towards new equipment, also my race entry fees. This kind of helps me pay for my triathlon stuffs. Also, if you just want to donate, check the link tree or shoot me an email. I'll send you a link for the donation. Yeah, so yeah, that's about all I got for today. So thank you very much for tuning in. As always, thank you very much, Team Zoot, for allowing me to, specifically Mark Goddard. He's the guy that just lets me do this. He gives me free reign to do this show however I want. I always make a call for cyclists and runners. If you are particularly well trained and or able to coach a certain aspect, I highly recommend you do a live stream like this. It would be very helpful to other team members, discussing different items of technique on the bike or technique on the run. If you want to know, if you have the capability of doing, explaining mechanics and stuff like that, but you have no idea how to set up a live stream, please let me know. 90% of the time, all you need is a webcam. We can get you a webcam that's moderately priced, and that's basically all you need. Just a stable internet connection, and you're good to go. I can teach you all the software, anything you would need to set up a live stream. I've been live streaming since 2016, so I've been doing this for a long time. I can help you get set up pretty easily. You don't need all this fancy crap that I have. I've just acquired it over the years of just having a hobby. So if you really are interested and, think you can pull it off 100%, we can talk to Mark. He can get you all set up with the keys, the stream keys and all the credentials that you need to stream here on Facebook. But yeah, so let me know, feralswimtech@gmail.com. If you're interested and want to take me up on this offer, I can fully 100% help you get started, and it would be a great asset to the team. So yeah, feralswimtech@gmail.com, feralswimtech on Instagram, feralswimtech on YouTube, and feralswimtech on Rumble. So if you like what you see here, hit the like button, hit the follow button, all the things. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you next week on the broadcast, where we're going to be talking about recovery. We're going to talk about stroke recovery, the different types of recovery, when you should be using the recovery, what is the optimal recovery, does it even exist? So stay tuned for next week. Same bat time, same back channel, kids. I'm sorry. Adam West. Adam West and, what's his face? The guy that did Robin. Actual fun fact. We consulted, what's his face? I can't remember his name. The guy that played Robin on the old live action Batman. He actually lives, somewhat close to me, and our company has consulted him on his pool in his backyard. The guy actually makes and sells dog food now. That's what Robin does now. Robin, the famous Robin from the Batman and Robin, he literally makes dog food. That's what he does. Anyway, so that was probably the most random reference I could have come up with to finish the stream. Oh boy, wow. So anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm gonna get out of here before I bring up other random stuff. So anyway, have a great rest of your day. I'm out of here. Until, as always, good night, Isaiah Norris, wherever you are. I'm out of here. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.